I have been living in this house since 1957, and my relatives were living here much longer. The house is gradually falling down, and as a result, holes are appearing. It is the impact of humidity. The building is already very old. Even now, that pipe is broken, and the water is constantly pouring out and going down. The foundation is weakened because of that. Unfortunately, I am uncertain about whom to ask for help. The apartment is my property. If I say that the pipe is broken, they will answer to fix it myself.
89-year-old Lina Gevorkyan lives in Tbilisi's Sololaki district. Among tourists, Sololaki is known as Tbilisi's oldest and most historic district, but locals also identify it as a locality with emergency buildings. An apartment in which Lina Gevorkyan lives has more than 160 years of history and equally old problems.
We have been waiting for about 10 years for them to repair this building. It was last renovated during the Soviet period. After the death of my husband, I live alone in this apartment. At first, loan lease was very difficult. Many people told me to sell the apartment, but I answered that I don't like the construction corps. I spent my whole youth here, and I can't imagine myself anywhere else.
According to Tbilisi City Hall's calculations, there are more than 10,000 emergency buildings in the capital. The number is increasing. The apartment of the 89-year-old woman is one of the thousands of such buildings, which also has the status of cultural heritage. This means that only the state has the right to renovate the building.
We have applied many times for renovation, but they don't answer specifically. The stairs you climbed are in very bad condition. I can't go up and down with them. It was 4 years ago I fell down in this part. I hit my leg, or I was dizzy, I don't know. But I hurt my leg as a result. I had to be treated for some time.
Architect Georgi Makaridze highlights a trend where numerous people are abandoning their homes due to the risky living conditions they pose.
Here is the old system, how it works. If the owner of the building notices something strange, something unusual, cracks or damages, they will make statements to the city hall, and they will check the building, and after that they will give the status of emergency building. But nowadays, as I mentioned earlier, there are thousands of buildings that expired, but now today they are good looking, but in terms of earthquake resistance, we don't know the information.
The architect says that about a year ago, the mayor of Tbilisi introduced a new proposed law. This law gives residents of unsafe buildings the opportunity to apply to the municipality for repair. If approved, the city government will take responsibility for fixing the buildings.
We all know that it's not about 2 years, 3 years process. It will take a long time, and these people who live in the emergency buildings are very in danger because it will take 10 years, 15 years to replace all the building.
Many of the buildings in Tbilisi have a history of more than 100 years, which makes their exploitation dangerous. There were many cases when residential buildings collapsed and people died. However, neither in the capital of Georgia nor in other cities there is still no list of emergency buildings that people can familiarize themselves with. The emergency condition of buildings is often contributed to unscrupulous residents who build additional balconies, sometimes rooms and houses, without observing safety standards. Some of them were released from responsibility through amnesty. Seismologist Thea Godoladze reminds the 2002 earthquake in Tbilisi, which was only 4.5 magnitude, but took 8 lives and damaged over 12,000 buildings.
In Georgia and the Caucasus, we had in the past the big earthquakes, and the earthquakes are happening right now, and the there's a big probability that the big earthquake will happen in the future.
Considering the chaotic development of infrastructure in Tbilisi, seismologists think that residents are at high risk.
Because it's very urbanized area, the population density is very high, therefore we need the maximum measures and very immediate measures to secure the life and the well-being of our population.
So, how will the problem of emergency buildings be solved? We tried to ask the responsible authorities, the Tbilisi City Hall. They only agreed to respond to the information request letter. Answer states that the program is intended to replace only those buildings and structures, the degree of dilapidation of which is category 5, 4 or 3. The City Hall did not give a concrete answer to the questions of how many of emergency buildings have been renovated so far and how much work remains to be done.